America's limits, man. Okay, calm down.
And you've been to Cuba and North Korea. What should Americans or people around the world know about those two countries?
Well, first, Cuba certainly is no threat to the United States. I mean, and during the Obama administration, with the opening of diplomatic relations, the freedom to travel, cruise ships going down there, huge numbers of American airlines going in, a lot of tourists that were going to Cuba, and finding out that, okay, it may not have a democratic government, it may have what still is called a communist country, but it's not really a communist country in the way you think of it. There's a lot of private enterprise. It's more on the Chinese model in a way. And certainly it's no military threat to the United States, and it's no economic threat. It's no threat to anybody, and it's only 90 miles offshore, and yet and it produces more doctors per capita than any other country in the world, and they go out and help people throughout the world. North Korea, 38 million people live there. They're not dumb people. They put satellites up. They've made nuclear weapons and tested them. They have ballistic missiles. One could say they are a threat, but they've been saying, would you please just sign a stupid peace agreement with us? That's all they want, so that they don't feel that the United States is going to invade and decapitate, which was the name of one of the military exercises, decapitation. They will not back down, because they know if they do, then something might happen to their regime. And while I think the regime ought to change its ways of doing things, it has human rights problems, as does the United States. It's got a lot of problems, but it could be a country that would be very quickly able to create an economic place where the people could have much stronger lives if the threat to them was not there, and they didn't feel like they had to use a lot of their economy toward building missiles and military stuff. So the women that we talked with in North Korea, 250 of them in a conference in Pyongyang and 200 of them down in Kaesong, all they were saying, we just would like to have a little peace. If you all wouldn't threaten us, our government wouldn't want to be building all this stuff, and our young men and women wouldn't be conscripted into the North Korean military. So while one has to be careful about how you move these things along, after 70 years since the Korean War, it's about time that we have a real peace agreement, and the North Koreans could feel that they are not going to be overrun by the U.S. and South Koreans.
So why doesn't the United States do that? What's its motives?
Money. The money that is made for the defense of South Korea, the number of weapons manufacturers that are sending tons paid for by the United States government, sending them into the South Korean military, as well as to the Japanese military too, because the Japanese are part of this whole little push on North Korea. So yeah, money is the key to it all. That the manufacturing of weapons in the United States, the military-industrial complex, in great measure runs the foreign policy of the United States. And until we can break that hold, I'm afraid things are going to continue as they are. However, we keep going after them. We disrupt board meetings of the big manufacturers. We're going to have a Merchants of Death tribunal in November of next year, where we put on trial, I doubt if they'll show up for it, but the CEOs of all the big weapons manufacturers in the United States, as an educational opportunity to let our fellow countrymen and women know how much money these people are making out of death.